Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Dwayne Fernandes from Gutshot Magazine. I welcome all of you viewers to yet another Gutshot and Glory live stream. As always, we have an amazing lineup of guests with us today. But before I go ahead and introduce them, let me tell you a little bit more about why we're doing this stream today. For those of you who know and don't know, Spartan Poker hosts a biannual series known as the India Online Poker Championship. It's had humble beginnings just a few years ago, but since then they've just kept growing and growing and growing in terms of tournament guarantees. The current IOPC Jan 2021 series is scheduled between 14 to 31st Jan, and it's begun like a week back. But I mean, we're barely halfway through, and there are still massive prizes yet to be won. Over the next few days, we have some major feature tournaments coming up, like the IOPC High Roller, the Super High Roller, the main event, and much more. And all of these will be streamed live by Spartan Poker on various social media channels. For that, we've got on board some of the best Indian and international stars who will be commentating on the live action as we see it. For those watching, please remember to stay tuned right through the stream because we will be running a contest where two free tickets to the IOPC main event, the Crown, worth rupees 11,000 each, will be given away. So stay tuned for those details. So yeah, finally, let's get to getting our guests on this chat. Uh, Firstly, let's bring on someone who has multiple cash game achievements. He's been PokerStar Supernova Elite status for 5 consecutive years from 2007 to 11. A Guinness Book World Record holder, a Twitch streamer, a coach, tournament player, and much more. That's Randy Lew. Welcome, Randy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, happy to be here. I mean, I feel very well achieved based on what you've said, but
I
maybe
really didn't mention half of it, just a couple of.
no worries at all. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. I know that when I went to play a bunch of the Macau tournaments, some of the Indian players would come out, and they were always very strong. But it was a small group, but they would do very well as well. And I was pretty impressed, despite not knowing much about them. So I'm excited to watch some whole cards here, and commentate on these final tables. I expect some. I expect that their play has improved and evolved, and we'll see how they kind of differ to some of the Western players and European players out there.
Right, right. Let's quickly go on to introduce someone who you know very well indeed. You and Celina have both been PokerStars team pros in the past, and Celina and you are also husband and wife. So we're talking about Celina Lin, who has $1 million plus in live winnings with cashes all around the world, including titles in Macau, Korea, and much more. So let's welcome Celina Lin as well. Selena, how are you? How does it feel being on board this IOPC commentators list?
Yeah, very excited. I remember every time I played with the Indian players in Macau, they're always the ones that you need to be really careful with. I believe that how in poker there's different trends, right? Well, the C bet is really something that we have to, I guess, balance really carefully against Indian players because they always do the check raise on you. And that's actually something that doesn't happen very often if you play in Macau. But against the Indian players, that happens all the time. So, the normal C bet you tend to do on the flop, frequently you have to kind of change your strategy against the Indian players. And that left a really, like an impression on me for a really long time.
Right. Let's quickly call. We also have Sangeeth Mohan with us today from our Indian list of commentators. Sangeeth has won a lot of domestic live as well as online titles, including an APT Manila title and, of course, the India Poker Championship High Roller title in February 2016. He's popularly known as Samo in the Indian community. So let us welcome Sangeeth Mohan as well.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's an absolute pleasure being here, and being with Randy and Celina. I don't have very pleasant memories of both of them. I'll tell you why. Because the last time I played with Randy, he owned my soul, and the last time I played with Celina, she owned my soul. So basically, I don't have very pleasant memories with them. But I'm finally happy to actually, have a conversation and just know where they come from as well. And I said, when Celina says, she just got check raised too often on boards, like, I think at some level we thought, just, they're just too tight. They're just going to fold eventually. So, we just got, I think our standard game plan was to just check raise flops, but just check raise flops which don't hit their range. Just check raise it. They'll just fold. If they call, just one and done. Check raise, check give up. That's all. That's all we plan to do. Nothing else. So I'm just giving out our game plan. And this was back in 2011, 2012, by the way. But now people have changed, and the Indian poker has grown massively, and people have started winning a lot. Even on they've traveled everywhere. They've won a lot of trophies, and I'm really excited to see what's in store for the next few days when things get to the final table of most of the major events at IOPC.
Hey, Samuel,
Uh,
look, you said that I owned your soul. And
Yes.
let me remind all the viewers that I do remember you, and the
Yeah.
one time I won the tournament in Macau, you
Absolutely,
got
yeah.
10th place.
Yes,
So I
absolutely, yeah,
remember you clearly.
yes.
I did not see you at that final table, and clearly I took some of your chips to win the tournament eventually.
Yes. I was a final table moment. It was heartbreaking, but it was a memory because I still remember you're one of my heroes back then, and I was so excited that I was chip leading on the final day, and Nanonoko was also in, and oh my god, I still have goosebumps when I think of that day, and we just played one hand, and but then I eventually got cooler in 10th place, but then I was very happy you won it because that was APPT Macau 2011, right? Back in November 2011.
Yeah,
That's
this
what I
is
remember.
way
Yeah.
back when. I actually think I remember the hand you busted strangely, and I didn't even read it recently. It was like you got flushed or something.
Yeah, I got tops. I had tops and I got it in against.
Top set.
Yeah, I just got flushed out. Yeah, 4-bit pot. So there's nothing I could have done differently.
Yeah, that's strange. It's like everything's coming back to me, and I
Yeah.
remember this guy. This is the guy who could not final table the tournament.
after going to the final, they are chip leader.
Guys, just to cut in there, I just got an update from our fourth guest who was facing a few internet issues, but he is with us finally. So I'm gonna quickly call him on. He has been a past IPC commentator. He's also been around the Indian poker scene for a decade or so, and well known for winning the IPC 25K big game in 2012. Let's call on board Richard Haridasoham.
Hello.
Richie, finally you've you've made it.
I know. It was a struggle, but we're back.
Richard, today is the day when I finally realized that is how you pronounce your last name.
Yeah, you finally got that.
Yes, I got that. 10 years. It took me 10 years.
Yeah.
I think Richard, you should use this opportunity to just pronounce your name for everyone else who
Yes,
is also
please.
unsure about it.
So the safe, the low variance thing to do is call me Richie. But yeah, if you want to get adventurous, my name is Richard Haridasoham. That's how you. This is basically my whole life. This is all I do. Basically, explain how to pronounce my name.
Right.
What did I
So
miss?
Richie, I'm gonna go with Richie. Okay. So Richie, how does it feel to be a part of this commentary panel for the IOPC and working alongside Samo and Celina Lin, Randy Lew? How excited are you?
It's so I'm acting all cool, but in my mind I'm losing it because I literally grew up watching Randy 24 table. There was so much happening with his graph, with the number of hands he could play, and it's a very big fanboy moment for me. Tina and Randy both, it's such a huge honor for us, to have them, on board, to host and to commentate over Indian poker. It's a super proud moment for me, and obviously the IOPC team as well. Samo, we go way back, know him for some time now. He's always a super guy to be around. The IOPC has always been very special to me because not only it's great value for everyone, but I also associate very closely with the brand because I think I started playing poker because of IPC. My first ever time I played live poker was way back in 2009. The first IPC, which was live in Goa, was where I played my first live hand. And that so basically the fact that I am playing poker or associate with poker is totally, it started with IPC and we're still here and it's amazing and I'm super happy to be here.
Lovely. So yeah, I think Randy, Richard just mentioned 24 tables and stuff. So for people playing tournaments, what would your general advice be? Should tournament players be multi-tabling, and if yes, what are the benefits of doing so?
You asking me? You asking Celina?
Yeah, that's what I
Very different answers, probably. That's why.
I'm not the one that's 24 tabling. That's you.
Oh, okay, yeah. In general, playing more tournaments will help you get the volume in and learn very quickly, right? So, for example, like even as me as an experienced cash game player, when I first jumped into tournaments, I had natural skill, but I didn't really have. I need to crunch the numbers and keep kind of be put in tough spots that are tough for me. Like even simple things like jamming 10 to 15 big blind ranges, it's not something I memorize very well. You just kind of have to see it over and over again. Obviously, play changes with when you reach final tables, ranges changes. So in general, what I like to do is I like to kind of study a little bit. So maybe I study some ranges a little bit more. And then I fire more than one tournament, probably like quicker tournaments to kind of get that volume and try to drill that knowledge into my head, right? I will say though, if you're playing a bigger tournament, so maybe like this main event coming up, I generally actually prefer to maybe one table or maybe two table rather than playing a bunch of tables. You kind of do a bit of training in the smaller ones, and then when the big ones come out, just play one table and really focus. And I think that's the right approach if you're able to do that.
Right. And Celina, for this one's for you. What from your experience so far in playing online tournaments, what would you say are the biggest challenges involved in online tournaments?
Well, for me, I would say reads. Like I've obviously had experience on both playing online and live, and you get a lot more reads live, right? When someone does something, what it technically would mean most of the time. And when you're playing online, especially if you're multi-tabling, it's so hard to get any reads. I mean, I guess sometimes the only reads you could get is betting timing tells, might be, and the thing is, a lot of that information can be very inaccurate as well, because I know there are players who literally would time themselves down, like whether or not they have a big hand. So sometimes like you don't want to go off those reads. So also automating. I guess one of the biggest things is that if you have so many tournament tables loaded up, you're playing very ABC poker, right? You're just doing, I raise this hand in this position and so forth. I'm gonna 3-bet because the numbers show that this guy has been raising a lot. Things like that. But like Randy was saying, when you have a major tournament, something with a big buy-in, you want to reduce the number of tables you're playing. You want to be able to concentrate on them. And I think that the biggest pitfall would be, I guess, tilting. When you're at home playing by yourself at home, nobody's watching you. You don't need to be on your best behavior. You can throw your computer out the window if you wanted to. You could be screaming, like there's just everybody has experienced it, right? And for you to be disciplined enough to not throw away the rest of your tournament and play well in all the other tables, that's very, very important. You need to get yourself emotions in check, right? Live, you can't do that. You're going to be thrown out of the casino. You're going to be thrown out of the tournament, right? So that's something that, I think that a lot of players may have trouble with. when it comes to something like that, I guess the tip I can give you is I think meditation works really well. Do yoga, whatever that helps, exercise, whatever. It is just getting that aggression, out of you. Like, if you need to have sex to get the aggression out of you, just do it. Whatever it is beforehand to prepare yourself for it, go for it. And that's that's my advice.
Right. So Sangeeth is someone who also has a lot of experience playing such major tournaments. So in fact, a couple of years back, Sangeeth himself won the IOPC main event in July 2018, if I'm not wrong. Sangeeth, tell us what is your approach for such major online tournaments, and once you're done with the strategy part of it, please go ahead and also explain to us about your username that you were on. I think you were using a username known as Nanga Nach, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, let's start with the username and get it over.
Yeah, and please explain to Celina and
my ID was Nanga Nach. Then Nanga Nach means naked dancing in Hindi, in Hindi, naked dancing. So the reason I had it was I started playing PLO4 that year in 2018. And PLO4 actually felt like naked dancing in the beginning. I had no idea what I was doing in the first few months. And I was just randomly reporting, getting it in. That's all I used to do. And then when I finally figured it out is when I was so basically how I played the IOPC when I had no plan to play the main event. I was actually playing online, and so I'm not Randy. No, I can't play 24 tables. I can play 6. So and anything after 6, I am randomly clicking buttons and whatever is available. So I had 5 tables. I had 5 tables fired up, and then I had table space. I had screen space for an extra table. So I was browsing the lobby. I said, "Oh yeah, there's an IOPC main happening. Let's just play that as well." And I was autopiloting the main, and I was playing the cash games seriously, and I was just folding or doing whatever with the main event. And finally, when I done with the session, and I looked at this table, I was kind of deep, and then I said, "All right, then let's just focus on this for now." And that was a story of me winning the IOPC main. And I think if I actually sat down and put my time and effort into the event, I probably wouldn't have won it because I would have just lost focus at some point. Something really stupid. But I think the whole idea that I was doing something else is why I actually won the main event.
And that, kids, is how you ship a tournament.
Absolutely.
So you went for Nanga Nach because the dance to death was not available.
No, actually, what I felt like this, right? So basically, what I felt was when you play PLO4 and when you start playing PLO4, like once you get used to the variants and once you're used to how things work in the PLO streets, then that it's just standard variants and things like that. But then once you start playing PLO, you feel like, what is happening? I just can't hold one hand. Every hand you're just getting, and then it just becomes normal. You know what kind of hand you're supposed to play and things like that. So I think that was the time when I actually got the idea, the Nanga Nach ID. Where actually I felt like I was just naked dancing right there. I was just dancing, baby. I didn't have any idea what I was doing.
Right. So, Sangeeth is someone who is left, if I'm right, you've left a professional job at Microsoft to become a professional poker player. So,
Right.
what inspired you to make this move?
Basically, I think I was just very honestly, I found poker way more interesting. I don't think I've ever I've been playing poker for 11 years now, and then I'm still on board of it. I still love playing poker. I still love playing the game. I just have when you said when you sent me the schedule for the stream, I said, can you just change these 2 days because I want to play. When I play live poker, I feel so happy. I just feel joy playing poker. So I think that kind of feeling can only come when you do something, when you do something which you really love. And I think that's the reason why I still play poker professionally and I still do this for a living. And I never got this feeling doing anything else in the world. So.
Right. And I'll quickly come to Richard's take on this. I think, Richard, if I'm not wrong with this detail, I think you're the only one on the stream who hasn't been playing poker professionally. Uh, so, what is your take on the same? Like, why?
Dwayne, to bring that up. But yeah, I've been playing poker for over a decade, but somehow I happened to make this. I played poker full time for the first year. I didn't know of much of what I was doing back then, and uh, so what happened is, so in India, and this is something that a lot of people relate to probably, that people aren't very thrilled about the whole professional poker thing. I'm sure Samo got a lot of backlash on when he started. I mean, 10 years back, when most of the old school players, at least in India, started playing the poker, the not only was the ecosystem very different, and so it's different, right? So it was easy to make money in poker back in the day, but it was just very difficult to take it full time, without having people judge you. So I sort of never happened to make that switch. Initially, my family wasn't very happy with me playing poker, which is why I did not. And eventually, I just fell in love with my job. So I work with hotels, I work in sales, and I just fell in love with my job. I traveled a bit for work as well, and which is why I never happened to make that jump. But somehow I still wanted to be connected with poker, which is why not only do I play a lot recreationally, but I also happen to do a podcast related to poker, happen to do a TV show related to poker, and just kept with the game. And maybe I will take a shot at poker, but then having said that, poker is not as easy as it used to be in India. And Samu would agree. A average player maybe 6-7 years back could just crush the cash games, 15, 20, 25 BB per 100, and just have some insane win rates. But now I think it's not as easy as it used to be. I'm sure we're still way behind, the expertise of maybe the USs and the Europes. But I think it's not as easy for someone to just come in and take poker professionally anymore, and a lot of work has to be done for it. And you never know, Dwayne. Maybe I will play full time.
Yeah, next stream I won't be asking you that.
So basically, I have something to add here, like to what Richard told me. Told us, like, for someone it is not easy to take poker professionally. So I think anyone should take anything professionally if they love it, and if they love it, the work they put in will never be work. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think once you love something, and if you think that this is what you want to do and this is what you're good at, just think you're good at it. Like, I survived first 4 years of my career thinking I'm good at poker, and let me tell you that very honestly, I just thought I was good at poker. And and if you actually even think that you're good at poker, and if you you need to genuinely love this thing. If you love it, then studying comes naturally to you, and if you study well enough, and I think still poker is a very, very viable career option for anyone who loves the game, very honestly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so let me come back to Celina and Randy. Have a couple of questions. So, guys, firstly, congrats, you guys recently welcomed a new member to your family as well. So, firstly, like, how do you manage that? You guys are playing and coaching and commentating, all of that stuff, and now bringing up a child as well, who, if I'm not wrong, is like 13, 14 months old now. So, how do you guys manage your schedule now? Like,
I'll let Randy go first on this one.
Well, pretty much like Celina does all of the hard work. She takes care of the baby. He feeds her, cooks, puts her to sleep and all that stuff. I still I don't play as much poker as I do before, but I still play a good amount. I still study a good amount. I do commentary, and I'm still pretty on top of the game. Uh, am I at my prime? Probably not. It's of course, raising a child is going to take some time away from that. But when I didn't have a baby, when I was playing in my prime, like all I did play poker, and I loved it, and I did my best. I did very well then, and now that I'm more mature and older, I can take a little bit time off and you know enjoy some of the other things in life, like raising a child, right? But I'm not giving up poker because I still love the game, like Samuel was saying, like I just, it's one of those things I just can't really stop playing. I don't know, just like there's always new stuff to learn. It's evolving. You would think there's a point when this game is just like solved, but really there's so many variations of poker. There's so many different people. Like I personally can't quit. So that's why I'm still very involved in the poker scene.
Yeah, Celina needs to tell us her side of it as well.
So my side of the story. Okay, so my life has changed dramatically. I mean, I'm hoping that poker is like riding a bike, right? So when I do the commentary, it's just like gonna be like just that easy for me to just get back into the groove. But yeah, for the last 2 years, it's been family and baby, and being a chef, being a mother. It's just home life. But I think that, it is a balance. It's really important because sometimes I have to keep reminding Randy, you're not a single guy living the bachelor life and just like playing 12 hours poker straight, right? Because you know how sometimes poker players get into one of those moods where like the game's really good, there's this fish, and then you just don't want to leave. Like this happens with everyone, right? But the thing is, I keep telling him, well, tomorrow there's another fish. Do you know what I mean? Like they always keep coming, right? There's plenty of fishes in the sea, right? But you don't want to miss out on your baby being, 13 months, like being 12 months, right? Like all these steps that she's taking, you're not going to be able to witness it again, right? You want to be able to be there to enjoy it immensely. And one good thing about being a poker player is that, yes, we have the freedom to do that. We can schedule our life in a way that we want to be able to enjoy these things. And that's something that I'm so thankful that, my career and everything, is poker, because I have the freedom to do all that. I have the freedom to be the mother I want to be. And I have the freedom to, put my career, at the back for a couple of years and just do everything 100%. Like I want to be there to be the best mother for my baby. And I want to be there, and be able to focus on her as much as I can in her early years until she starts schooling. And, I'm just so thankful I'm able to do that, and I think that that's the biggest difference between a mother and a father is that, a man's, job, it doesn't change too much. I mean, like Randy burns himself when he's trying to boil water, right? So I'm like thinking, well, do I leave the baby to him or should I take care of the baby myself? And that's a very, very easy answer, okay? So, the last 2 years has been absolutely amazing. There's hard times and there's, but through it all, you have this amazing human being that adores you to bits, and, just nothing I would exchange for that. And I mean, poker has given me the chance to just kind of be an all-around person when it comes to being a wife and being a mother.
Right. So let's talk about the IOPC. The IOPC has already begun. We're going to be streaming our first tournament in a couple of days from today. So this is something addressed to all of you guys. Like, how are you guys looking forward to this series? Like, what are you expecting from our Indian players? Samo and Richard would know most of these guys who would probably make some of the final tables, whereas Randy and Celina may not. So overall, what is everyone's expectations from the next few days of the IOPC?
Who goes first?
That's
You spoke first.
Okay, I hope I end up knowing no one on the final table of any of the events, because I think that's the best thing that can happen, because the pros had it too easy for too long. And I hope there is no one I know on this one. Probably the super high roller and the big bite events, yeah, probably we'll have a few familiar faces, but otherwise I hope no one I know is there. But then I think there are a couple of there are a few insanely good players in India who are very, very good, who has insane work ethic, who study very, very hard and things like that. So I think I probably end up seeing a bunch of those guys on the final table, and it's going to be a very intense battle. Like Randy said, although the game is like a lot of people argue that the game is solved, like Hold'em is solved, but no one actually the Pyro solver doesn't actually counter human element into the mix, right? Like, it just gives you a solid game theory optimal strategy, but not the human element. And I think that's what is gonna take the winner home.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to go for, like, what are your expectations from this series?
So for this, when we do the commentary, are we having whole cards down, up? What's that?
I think it's up.
Like?
I
It's
think
going to be cards up, yeah.
cards up.
Nice. So we can see which of these Indian players are super crazy, which ones
Yeah.
are super tight, trying to ladder up. It's gonna be fun. Honestly, like, yeah, there's gonna be unknown players reaching these final tables, and a lot of guys like to follow the big name players that show up. But you know what? A lot of times, some of these unknown players, they got some really cool creative moves. Like. They're the guys that's doing like, hey, I'm on a live stream. Let me just do some sick bluff on some pro and just kind of show it. It's very exciting. I've done a lot of commentary in my time. That like I'm always excited, of course, for the big names out there. A lot of guys are rooting for them to win, but I'll tell you, some of those unknown ones are really the fun ones, and they kind of create some stories with them. I hope we get some new faces. I don't know who the superstars of India are, but I'm sure Samuel and Richie will tell me if they do reach the final table. If it's a re-entry event, those guys, I guarantee, will be in for a lot of bullets. Guys with just one bullet to win it, right? Not the guy who put in 15 bullets.
There's some really crazy players.
I want a one bullet guy to win it, by the way.
Yeah. Just
Max
rub it
Payne,
in.
Max Payne.
Yeah. So, Samoa and Richard, since you guys know most of the players, so like you mentioned, if it's the high rollers and the super high rollers, you're probably going to know quite a few of them. So, you did mention that you don't want to see known players, but who do you guys have your money on? Who do you like, Richard and Samoa? Who do you guys know for sure is definitely someone to watch out for, and someone we will probably be seeing on a couple of final tables?
Yeah, so you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I'll pick my favorites. I think Abhinav Iyer for sure. No, sorry, my absolute favorite, Aditya Sushant. Like, he's a mad genius of poker in India, man. I mean, I have never seen anyone better than him, I think. So Aditya Sushant, Abhinav Iyer, Vaibhav Sharma, Sriharsha Doddavaneni. I don't think Addy is playing because he's busy with something else, I guess. Ashish Munot. I think these are my top 5.
I think Aditya Sushant has already won a title.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's talking about the big ones. The big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Samo. I would really love to have a complete unknown win the tournament, but I would love to see Kanishk on the final table. Maybe Nikita. I think she's incredible. All the names that Samo mentioned are mad geniuses, and they have they have been winning tournaments left, right, and center. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come. But then I really am hoping that a complete unknown comes up and wins the tournament. I think it's healthy for the game. It's great for a country which is gaining so much popularity as far as poker is concerned, and I think it will be super fun to see them being on the live stream with the likes of Randy, Celina, telling us about their plays. It will be really fun to watch, I think.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen, right? This Aditya Sushant, I'm pretty sure I've played with this guy at the World Series of Poker. He is very good. He's going to come to the chip leader final table in one of these high rollers, and he's going to be like trying to run over people like, oh man, I'm so good. These guys are bad. I'm going to 3-bet him. You know what? One of these guys are just going to call him down with ace high, and he's going to be out in 9th place. That's my expectation coming up.
I mean, his ID. His name is Aditya Sushan. We used to call him Sushi, but then most of the days we used to call him Spewshi.
Yeah.
So, but then Sushi, I think is like one of my absolute favorites. Like, I think he stopped studying because he himself is a bio solver. That's what I think. That's what he believes. I mean, I know it all. I don't want to study. I know it, and he's actually pretty good. I mean, I love Sushi, by the way.
Right. So guys, let's take a couple of questions that we've been getting during the live stream as well. And before that, we did mention that we'll be having a contest run through on during the stream. So for everyone watching, we have two IOPC The Crown main event tickets being given away. It's worth rupees 11,000 each. All you need to do is sign up to Spartan Poker, register an account with the code Gutshot, and mention your username in the comments, and we will pick a couple of lucky winners by tomorrow morning and announce them in this thread. So that's it. I think all you need to do is sign up, use the code Gutshot, and best of luck for that. Let me quickly go to some of the questions. We have a question from Donna for Celina and Randy. She wants to know how you guys met.
Oh, actually, it was the first time I went to Macau, the same one I won, the same one that Samo got 10th place in. Just to remind you guys, in Macau, that was that was the first time I met Celina, and she did the winner's interview with me. So I didn't know her too well, but obviously very attractive lady, very sweet, and I heard she's very good at poker. Oh, what's a funny thing? There was one thing that's very funny. We went to, I think, was it like a after party or something, and I was, I'm down there. I think I'm a big deal. I'm 24 table. I'm bluffing people. I'm calling people down, and I'm winning lots of money, right? And she has no idea who I am. Like literally.
That's unfortunate, man.
That's a run bad. That's a bad beat. I'll tell you that.
Oh my
I
God.
was 2 plus 2 nerds, so I didn't know who he was. People had to explain to me who he was. Hey, Randy, why didn't you tell them the reason you came down to Macau to play?
What do you mean? What is the reason? I mean, I was, I'm just trying to play some pokers, win some trophies here and there. Why do you think I came down to Macau?
Well, I thought you told me because you thought I was really good looking on the Team Pro roster, so you came down to Macau to see it in person.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's about right.
Is this the truth, or you have a really bad poker face?
Yeah, pretty bad, man. That's why I play online poker. I'm a real big fish. Like when I'm playing live poker, I'm like this, Don't look at me.
You guys think Randy's fast when it comes to 24 tabling. He's really slow when it comes to courting because he friend zoned himself for 10 years straight after that.
Right. Let's move on. We have a question from Mrinal for Sangeeth Mohan. She wants to know your preparation before any crucial game or tournament or poker session.
Crucial. Okay, if you think a game is very crucial, then I think you're very underrolled for that game, by the way. So I don't ever think that a game is very crucial. I think every game should be treated equally, unless you are in the main event final table or something. Yeah, then everyone is underrolled for that. So consider every session as a normal session, and I try to build a routine before I go to play every day. So I have I have a meditation session every day, like without failure. Like if I don't meditate, I don't play that day. So it is that strict. I make sure I do that. Otherwise it's like, I just went to the casino without the money to play. So it's like that. Just consider that, you just didn't go to the casino that day, or whatever. Because, I think
I've got a question for you. Okay. how do you meditate without falling asleep? Because every time I meditate, I fall asleep.
So basically, I started researching a lot on. There's something called. So the brain works in multiple frequencies, right? Like there's an alpha frequency, beta frequency, and a theta frequency, and things like that. So basically, when you try to have a purpose for meditation, so basically, this is something which I found out very recently, that when you're waking, whenever you wake up, or when your normal working frequency is beta, right? And then when you relax, when you actually do when you do the passive meditation, which when you clear your mind and focus on your breath and all that, you're in the alpha state, right? And the most functional state, or one of the best states to be in when it comes to creative thinking and intuitions and things like that, is the theta state. Now, getting into the theta, so this takes effort. And this actually wants you to do some things which you have to do other than just focusing on your breath. And I think that's what keeps me awake. Like, you have to do certain things to be certain things. You need to be aware of certain things when you meditate to be in that state. And I think that's what keeps me awake during these sessions. And if you are interested, just Google Jose Silva, the Ultramind system. Jose Silva. I'll just put it in the private chat so that you can just Google it right away. It's called Jose Silva Ultramind system, and it is something which I find very, very interesting, and you should check it out. It's pretty insane. And otherwise, I usually use Headspace. Headspace. You've heard of Headspace? Yeah. So I usually do Headspace, and I choose one lesson, and I choose one section, and I just complete it before I move to the next and all that. And some of the things which I like I love the focused one, I love the patience one, and it actually I feel it actually helped me a lot, not even a little, like a lot, with poker in general. So I think that is like a mandatory thing for me to do before I go to play. And I fix in a study schedule as well. It doesn't matter what I study. Like, I don't have a particular thing that today I have to study this. No, but I have to do some kind of study before I go to play. I mean, that is like a mandate thing. It could be on my mental game, it could be on my on the actual game itself, but I just have to do something when it comes to studying before I go to play. Because I always feel that every day when you go play, you need to focus on so basically I mostly play live cash now, and every day I play, I focus on one particular thing, and I focus on that itself. So what helps this, how this helps me is, this helps me in actually detaching emotions and the whole money value from the game, and just focus on decision making alone. I think that is what we are like. Whenever ask me what do you do for a living, I'm in a decision making job. Basically, what I do is decision making. What you do is decision making. But my decision making can make me money or lose me money, which I should not be bothered of. But your decision making mostly makes you money. I mean, that's the only difference. But when my decision making makes me money, I make a lot more money. That's all.
Right. Let's move on to the next. We have a question specifically for Celina. Celina, you were recently in the news because of your exit from PokerStars. So we have a viewer asking what your upcoming plans in poker are after this move out of PokerStars.
Yeah, so after PokerStar exited the Chinese-speaking market and so forth, I was just thinking, well, maybe for the next couple of years, I focus on, family life. And the funny thing is, right after I posted about my exit from PokerStars, how when a door closes, windows open. Well, yeah, I was getting a lot of knocks on the window, and so I'm talking to you fine people right now and doing some commentary for the IOPC. Then I'm actually doing some streams for the WPT as well. So there's actually a lot of things lined up. I've actually been booked, for January and February. So looks like there's some really good collaborations that's going to happen.
Right. Richie, there's another question that has, this debate has been happening for years, but this question says, how much of poker is skill and how much is luck? I want to hear it from you, and then we'll move on to the same question for Randy as well.
I think Tamo has summed it up very concisely. Poker is essentially decision making, and I think the better player will always win in the long run. It's quite a large subject when you think about it, but I think the moment you simplify it to making good decisions, like for example, sushi is Pio solver. Like the man thinks ranges, thinks strategy in a very different way, where his emotion is detached. I think that kind of thought when you bring to the table is what separates you from the average player. So I think skill is very important. I think in the short run, the more short run, the more like you look at one hand, one tournament, one situation, the more I think luck plays a role. But I think, for example, if we look at someone like Mo who's playing cash day in day out, his skill will always catch up. There might be downswings, there might be bad moments, but as long as he's playing the best poker, he is going to be a winning player throughout.
Randy, your take on this?
Pretty much. Yeah, so yeah, in the short run, of course, luck will be prevalent, especially if you're a new player, you're playing one table. You get in pocket aces against kings, they hit their 20%er. These things happen. But and that's kind of why one of the approaches I took was I know this is a game of skill. I know statistics. That's why I opted to play 24 games, trying to reach that long run faster. So I'm very famous for my cash game graph that goes straight up. But if you actually focus and zoom in the bits of it, it's actually quite up and down quite a bit. It's just that I've played so many hands, it looks quite smooth. I face the same variance as all the other guys out there. So obviously, when you look at a very big sample, you look in the long run. I play winning poker, therefore I'm going to win in the long run. It's very hard to lose unless you just are insanely unlucky. But the thing is, like, it's like it's possible to win the lottery multiple times in a row. It's just like really hard. It's possible, but it's not really going to happen unless you're. So you're going to complain about losing some flips here and there, and it happens. But um, it is a skill game. The best players will come out ahead in the long run. The beautiful thing about poker is the luck, the little gamble in it, is what attracts people. What makes it fun. It gets other players that aren't professionals in the game, keeps the economy going. And you have to face this variance. If you can't handle it, you can't really be a professional poker player and find profitable situations.
Right. Randy, there's another question for you regard to your move to a card room as a security consultant and a gameplay expert. So we just want to know what exactly you do there as part of your job there.
Yeah, so mainly ACR, they're growing website. They're not as big as some of the other ones out there, but they have the right intentions. I've spoken to the CEO and the guys that's in charge of the security department, and they have good intentions. They want to clean up the games. They understand there's like these tool assistant things that some of the poker players use. Try to get an advantage, but they want to clean this up, give you a safe place to play. So the guys that run the security department, right? Like a lot of the guys that work for these poker companies, they never were professional poker players, right? So they're gonna look at all the statistics, the databases, and running all those numbers. Maybe not something I'm an expertise at, as some of these other guys are, and then if they'll have me kind of give that poker player consulting point of view. So like say if we're trying to catch a bot or something, right? Like they're going to look at all these statistics and compare them to other statistics in other sessions and see if there's some variation, standard deviation differences, blah, blah, blah. But they might not see certain things a poker player would. So, I'm going to understand some of the strategies behind certain things, how maybe PIO solver would act for some of these guys, and you're like, sometimes you can see someone making plays, and you're like, yeah, this guy's got to be some kind of human due to his kind of errors he's making, etc. And give some different insights, and really try our best to make ACR have good security, and the whatever other features to help make it a safe safer place to play out there because poker is evolving. We didn't have PIO solver and all these other things before, right? But we need to adjust. We need to adjust evolving poker, and that's kind of like the gist of what I do in a little nutshell.
Right, right. We just have a couple of more questions before we wrap up for today. Richie, this one is for you from Sid, and I think I have personally also asked you this question a couple of times. Yes, if you are, when are you planning to restart your Poker Rajas podcast?
Oh, so yeah, very soon, very soon. So it's been a couple of years. I've been getting this question a lot, and I really want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Do a podcast and then not do it, and I want to do it in like sort of continuity, and which is why I have taken my time. I think I'll start very soon. I've already spoken to a couple of people. And maybe next month, maybe the month after, but we will definitely. And Randy's right here, so I'm in the best position to ask him if he can give me some time. But yeah, I would definitely start the podcast because it was something that I started when I was distant from poker, and it was my way of sort of being connected with the game, and I really enjoyed it. Samo has been on the show. We've had a great conversation, great stories. So it's something to have the podcast. I'll definitely start it very soon, and yeah.
And Celina, you've got cashes around the world, titles around the world. Your routine has changed, but I would still like to ask you, when do you plan to come to India for a poker tournament or two?
I think that originally there was a possibility of the Asia team traveling to Goa for a tournament. This was a little while back. And I've heard like it's a really beautiful place and it's like a resort, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less. It's like the tourism capital of India.
Yeah, so I definitely would be up for it. It's going to be most likely you guys have to accommodate Randy and I and the baby. And yeah, we'll get out there. But yeah, I think that, once all the health and everything is back to normal, there's going to be like plenty of poker for everyone to play. I think, it's really been missed. And, I'm definitely going to be seeing guys back on the circuit, with a patch or without. So, yeah.
Right. Samo, coming back to you for a quick answer from you. You've been a Spartan team pro in the past. So how would you describe Spartan Poker's growth over the last few years and your opinion on the IOPC brand as a whole?
Oh, remarkable. Yeah, the Spartan Poker has grown from strength to strength over the last few years. From the time I was a pro when Spartan, I think, pretty much started. And, from the tournament numbers then to the tournament numbers now, I still remember the first ever millionaire. I think it was called the millionaire only, where it was 10 lakh for first, right? Yeah. And then, we were watching the numbers so closely to see if we actually hit that guarantee and, things like that. So remember, right now it is like, it's very easily crushed. And secondly, what was the second question? You asked me about IOPC and IPC. IPC, the first tournament I ever played in Goa, and because of my performance in IPCs, is why I got picked by the Poker Guru team and eventually started playing for them, and that's how the career started initially. So I think IPC is a very close tournament series to my heart. I always try to be a part of IPC, and even how the IPC brand has grown is spectacular. And I hope the IPC is back live very, very soon after the whole pandemic situation is over. And yeah, let's hope for the best.
Right.
Another thing about the IPC, if we have time, Dwayne.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing about the IPC, since it was one of the first tournaments to start, what happens is whenever there's an IPC, a lot of players who aren't very regular to the poker scene also show up. Like the last two IPCs, a lot of people I haven't seen around for like a couple of years actually showed up for the tournament because they were with other friends, they remember it from back in the day. So there's a lot of recall for the brand, which shows that they've worked really hard to garner their respect in the circuit, which is remarkable.
Yeah, I mean it's grown from around 8 to 10 lakh rupees in its first edition IOPC I'm talking about to a 28 crore guarantee in just a matter of 4 years. So that's brilliant. This particular edition has a total of 118 tournaments. All IOPC winners get badges of silver, and uh, the main event winner, the crown, that's the winner is really going to be enjoying this. He's going to get a diamond studded 18K gold crown. So that's pretty exciting. I think uh, it's a lot of motivation to win apart from the prize money, of course. But yeah, I think that's about it for today. I think I want to say thanks to all of you guys for taking out your time for this stream. And good luck for the rest of the IOPC. We have 6 streams beginning on the 22nd. So I think everyone who's been watching you today will see a lot of you guys in the next few days.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Super
Thank you.
excited.
Bye bye. See you guys.
Bye.